Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about something that I've been working on for a long time and I've been meaning to make a video about for a while. It's basically my computer setup for gaming and media. It really revolves around three programs and a PS4 controller. So I wanted to show you guys kind of what the general layout of all of this is. The three programs are DS for Windows, which is what I use to make this do all the fancy stuff. The front end for all my games is Big Box, and the front end for all my media is Kodi. So I'm not going to bore you to death. Let's just go ahead and get started. The swiping on the pad here will actually open and close programs and do certain things. Like if I swipe left, it'll start recording. If I swipe up, it'll open Big Box. So swipe up, let's take a look at Big Box. And as you can tell, it has this little splash screen that loads up. And I've tried a bunch of different media front end or a bunch of different game front ends. And Big Box to me is just the one that's easiest to use when you're dealing with huge amounts of games, and just one of the best looking and most customizable. Also, the guy who makes it, Jason Carr, is like a really, I mean, he's just on top of it all the time. And he's always putting out new programs and always updating it. And one thing that I really like is that you can view the menus of games inside of Launchbox, and he's always adding features like that. That's really, really nice. As you can tell there, I kind of touch the pad here and I press it in. I can turn the volume up and down on the screen there. If I touch them both together, it mutes it, you know. So those are just a couple little shortcuts I have. So the way that I have Launchbox laid out right now is that the emulators and the systems are on the left-hand side, and then you have a recently played games section here. And you can select any of these emulators to give you a list of the games that are there. So if I select Genesis, then it's going to bring up this list of all the Genesis games that I have. I kind of like having all of them, so it's got pretty much every game. And you can navigate it just using, you know, the L and R buttons or the, you know, analog sticks, or you can go by alphabet, or you can just use the D-pad here. So let's take a look at Dynamite Headdy. When you open a game, it has this list on the left-hand side, which will basically give you some options here. You know, you can open the emulator that it has. You can view the achievements of the game, which is something that's really cool about Launchbox and RetroArch, is that they have this achievements list, which is through a website called Retro Achievements. So here, you can see I've played a little bit of Dynamite Headdy, but I haven't gotten too far into it. You can see the list of achievements that you can get, like beating the 9th stage, beating the 8th stage on hard, and then the amount of points that you get for doing that. You'll notice these two achievements say hardcore. Basically, if you don't use save states or any type of cheating devices, then it considers it hardcore, you know? I don't play with any type of save states or anything like that, so it's really fun to play a game and just kind of, when you beat a level, have a little thing pop up that's like, hey, you did it, good job. So, yeah, there's that. Retro achievements are really nice. There is a star rating, so basically you can rate the game with your own rating here. And there's also, as you can tell, a community star rating. And that's people who use Big Box that go in here and they rate the game, and that uploads it online and then kind of gathers all of it. So as you can see, Dynamite Headdy's a pretty average game, apparently. So a little above average. But one of my favorite things, as I mentioned earlier, is the manuals. Being able to just natively view a manual with your controller and have it not feel super weird. My big thing on all of this setup is getting it feeling very fluid. You know, I want to make sure that everything feels organic when I'm using my controller to navigate around. So here, you know, you can use the up and down arrows to navigate through here. I've got the L and R button set to zoom, so I can zoom in if I need to. A good example of that would probably be, let me go back here. I was playing through, let's see, Pokemon Fire Red. And what I did is I actually manually downloaded the manual. I made it instead of downloading the manual, I downloaded the Prima Guide. So here you can kind of see, here's all the Prima Guide stuff. And like if I need to go to a type effectiveness chart and like zoom in a little bit so I can like see what's going on, it's really nice to be able to, you know, get in here and do that. So it's very, very easy to navigate around. You just press the back button to get out of any menu. If you press the triangle button, it shows you the back of the box. I'm a really big fan of flavor text, so really cool. Oh, this doesn't have a back of the box picture. That's pretty interesting. I gotta see if I can get that. And you can always scrap for more media and stuff like that. So if you go here, press triangle, it goes to the back of the box. You can view the images full screen. You can set all these buttons to kind of do whatever you want to do in Launchbox. Oh, sorry. Never mind. Also, that's a cool part about it. It's actually voice activated. So when you have this kind of like huge library of games, you know, like you look at the NES library and it's just huge. There's like thousands of games there. Then it's a lot easier to just kind of say what you want to do rather than have to navigate through the menu. So I can be like, Big Box, play Super Mario World. And then it just automatically opens Super Mario World, which is one of my favorite games. But either way, as you can tell, I pretty much only play old games, and that's why this system is really, really, really nice. I love it. I love the way it's laid out. And it just scraps all the data for you. So basically, like, Launchbox is... I shouldn't get into playing this game. I guess another thing that's really neat is the ability to map out specific... Wow. You can map out specific controls per game. So, like, I'm using an emulator called RetroArch. So, if you want to, you can go into controls and then change what buttons do what per game setting. And you can see it says here, save game remap file, or save the remap file for the entire core. That's more along the lines of like specific RetroArch stuff, and I'm not really going to get too much into that. I just want you to kind of see the experience of playing the game, which is really cool. Typically, I'm using Bluetooth on the PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 4 controller here, and its latency typically stays under 5 milliseconds, which I don't really have too much of an issue with. But yeah, it's very cozy. It's very comfortable to play. Everything feels very natural. Now, because I'm a TurboGrafx kid, I actually have it set to where the... Woo! You see that sweet alley-oop? I have it set to where whenever you want to get out of something, you press start and select at the same time. So if I hold down start and then press select, it's going to close it. And that closes any active window. The way Launchbox works is that, you know, this is the end result. Launchbox is kind of like you have to go in and configure a lot of stuff, but this is Big Box, which is like the nice looking thing. All of these, you know, consoles on the left-hand side are using specific emulators. And then Windows is like Steam, you know. So when I want to go in here and open a Steam game, it kind of gets all the metadata for the game itself. And, you know, like, I will rate this 5 stars because I think this is one of the best games ever made. So, it gets all the information and the video and all that. And then when I hit play, it basically just launches whatever it needs to do to, you know, open the game. Going in there and making everything look really nice is the hard part. You know, there's a lot of configuration that you have to do and, like, tweaking and things along those lines. So, start and select is going to close it. And that's kind of what I've been working on is tweaking it to where it kind of responds the best that it can, you know. And there's always going to be small little glitches here, and there's always weird things that you just kind of have to deal with. Like one good example is the Dreamcast. I'm using an emulator called NullDC, and you'll notice that it has the splash screen and it has the menu at the top for a second, but it all goes away eventually. So you have to make compromises, and I think that for as small of a time as that's up there, I'm fine with it, you know. And you have to go in there and configure the controller per emulator also. So, long story short, that's Launchbox. I love it. I love being able to look at manuals. I love having kind of a unified control here. Being able to look at the metadata, the, you know, flavor text on the back of boxes and stuff. Oh, that's cool. I like that. And the download, like the images that they download are just really cool. Like this one, you know, like that was like an official poster, I'm sure. So that's really cool. And I like the fan art and stuff. But it's just a really nice, a really, really good looking front end for emulators. And if you guys care about it, I'll tell you how I've got this set up, like how I went through and did everything. But for now, we'll just get out of Launchbox and talk about the next program that I want to get into, which is Kodi. So if I swipe down on the PS4 controller, it will open Kodi, which is my media front end. I'm using something called an Estuary mod, which is a skin for the program Kodi that allows you to really customize a lot of stuff. And as you can see over here on the left-hand panel, if you use Kodi at all, that mine's very different than the standard layout. So the way that I have mine laid out right now is I have my movies here, and all of these will have a widget on the right-hand side. So this widget here just kind of randomizes the movies that I have in my library. So these are actual movies that I have in my library, not streaming movies or anything like that. And then I have TV shows, and these are the actual downloaded TV shows that I have on my computer. And then music, same story, and this is just a random album layout. That's a random TV shows layout. Here's a custom little folder that I made of a bunch of RiffTrax stuff that I have. And you can see it's movies and shorts. I have a folder of David Lynch stuff, and I have that laid out with thumbnails like that, which I really like. And then all my all my programs and plugins and stuff like that are accessible there. Then we have Google Music, which is like, man, I just recently found it one of the best if you use Google Music, it is one of the best music plugins for Kodi because it's so native. It just feels so natural, and it lays itself out exactly like it does on your phone. So the widget that I used here was the Listen Now widget, which kind of gives me suggestions to new bands that I should try out if I like other bands and stuff like that. So it's a really great option for me to kind of go in there and just kind of, you know, try something new instead of going to the same thing I go to all the time, which is totally this album right here. So if we go into Google Music, you can see it's got the I'm Feeling Lucky, Listen Now, your own library. You can browse the stations, auto playlists, and search. Really convenient. That's why I've got the keyboard on the PS4 controllers to be able to search pretty easily for stuff. Pluto TV is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's basically like a weird combination of like internet TV and I don't even know how to describe it, man. It's just really cool. So like Flicks of Fury is a channel that's always playing old kung fu flicks. There's news all over the place. They have like Jash, which is a comedy channel, Funny as Fuck, which is like a I don't know, like YouTube videos that are funny. You can see they've got RiffTrax, Fail Army, and it's just really cool. If you ever get the opportunity to fool with Pluto TV, get it. It's really fun. Quasar is a torrent client that you can use to download stuff. This is just the most popular TV shows right now. Exodus is a streaming client, and these are the most popular movies right now, so you can stream stuff. Anime Incursion is just a great source for anime, so this I have for the highest rated anime. And then YouTube, this is the most popular videos on YouTube, but if you go into YouTube, you can kind of see, you can sign in and access all your regular stuff, you know, your subscriptions, your recommendations. You can search, you can go to your own channel, see your liked and disliked videos, subscriptions, and all that. It's really cool. And then Netflix is actually something that took me a while to get set up. But basically, there's no good client for Netflix and Kodi. I've tried every possible thing there is to try. But what I did is, when you open Netflix, it actually uses Chrome Launcher inside of Kodi. And you'll see that the controller color changed there. I'll get into that in a second. But basically, whenever Chrome opens, it changes what my controller does. So this now acts like a mouse. So I've got this going on. And then my X button is now a play button. So I can kind of go through here. Or it's a click button. So I can go here and kind of like navigate around. See what you know, we got going on there. Go to episodes. See what the episode list is. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, you know. So that is just a mouse interface, and typically my right bar will do up, down. Oh, it does. Look at that, up, down, left, right. Yeah, so you can use the right hand joystick to go up and down if you want. But either way, that's pretty much it for that. And then when I press start and select, it closes that and then goes back to my regular Kodi menu. And this is Kodi, you know. Again, it's the Estuary mod version 2, and I just love the way it looks, man. I love it. So like if I go to my music, you know, I can change the layout too. I didn't really show you this, but if I go here, I can kind of change what view, you know, it's using. So this is a good looking view. I like this a lot. So I can kind of go in here, and it'll lay out the albums on the left hand side there, which is really cool. You can go in and see your albums. If you use the context menu, you can pull up some information, you know, and if there's no information available, you can try to find it using certain scrappers. It's all about, you know, scraping for metadata. So it's Pretty cool. There we go. So it loaded, a banner over there and, you know, uh, information on the album, which is pretty cool. And then that's pretty much it. I don't really know if there's much else to talk about. You can just kind of see it's all about making it look good and feel good. Really, my big thing is making it feel good. Like, I like functionality a lot, but more than that, I like kind of a continuous feeling, like, X is select, B is back, start and select will close whatever I'm looking at. That to me is just kind of all I'm really looking for. And metadata. I really like having the ability to change the way things look, the ability to have big information, available. I haven't really gone in to get all these views looking really good, but as you can tell, there's just a really nice list available of how you can make it look, which is really cool. Sizen 4. This is neat because it has the season and then the episodes within the season, and then you can kind of select them from there, which is really cool. But yeah, that's Kodi. If you guys care more about how I have that laid out, you can, I don't know, just ask me. And let's talk a little bit more about my controller. So while Kodi's open, I can swipe up, and it's going to reopen Big Box, because I didn't show you the views that you can do in Big Box, I don't think, which are really nifty. So what the controller will do if I have both programs open is I can actually swipe to the right, and it's going to switch between them. Which, man, that's so handy. Like, when I want to, I'm done playing games, I want to watch movies, but you don't want to have to reopen the program all the time. That's really nice. So, if I go to my Game Boy Advance here, I don't think I have too many games for that. You can see that I have a cover flow kind of going on here at the bottom. That's how I have the games laid out. But if I press the select button, and you can change this to any button that you want, it changes the way that these are laid out. So it has this kind of wall. You can do a list on the left-hand side. You can do the little banner things. You can see the title at the top there, just full screen stuff. And I wanted to mention, I'm using a pretty low mid-range computer. It's an Optiplex 3020. It's got an i5 with 8 gigs of RAM. It's really not much, there's not much going on there. So I have to do things like these images here are really low quality, only because I told it to do low quality, so everything's a little smoother on this computer. If I had a better computer, I mean, this would be even smoother and even better. But I kind of optimized all of this for a low mid-grade computer. So yeah, you can kind of cycle through the visualizations here, and then you can do that per game core. So as you switch between the consoles, all the consoles have different layouts. And that's something I really like about it. But I think that's pretty much it. Everything, again... Oh, no, I don't think I got into the voice activation. So, in Launchbox, you can actually use voice activation. When you have huge game libraries like this, it's really handy. Instead of having to navigate everything, Super Mario World is something that, yeah, Super Mario World. We'll just use that. If I didn't want to go through all the menus and stuff, I can just use voice commands like Launchbox. Or not. Play Super Mario World. Play Super Mario World. And you can say Launchbox or Big Box, and it'll, open up, which is really cool. But really handy just to be able to pull up a game out of nowhere. Let me see. Something that's kind of cool with the voice commands is that not only can you play games, but you can tell them which console you want to play them on. So there's programs there's games like Altered Beast, which is on plenty of consoles, but I have it on several, one being the Genesis and the Master System, both. So it'll default, I don't really know how it defaults to which one to do first, but you can tell it which one to play on. So I can say, Big Box, play Altered Beast on the Sega Master System. And then now it's going to open up Altered Beast on the Sega Master System, which is obviously an inferior port. But let's take a look, blah, blah, blah. And then I can close that. And then I can say, Big Box, play Altered Beast on the Sega Genesis. And now it's going to open Altered Beast on the Sega Genesis, which is really, really, really cool. There's just a lot of neat features in here that are just, to me, mind-blowing. Whoa, listen to that. You hear that? Man. Oh, man. Even controls better. Look at that. What is that? What kind of... Who does that in a fight? I'm just gonna roll on my back and kick straight up. Alright, but anyway, you get the idea. Pretty cool stuff. If you guys have any more questions, just let me know if you want to know more about it. I really love it. It's super cool. And I feel like everything, you know, is very fluid and functional. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!